Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Otakuology podcast. We're the premier best otaku podcast ever on the web,
Yeah.
where we talk about anime and manga and whatever we want to talk about. Here with me is my heterosexual life partner, Jen Graves. How are you doing today, sir?
Pretty good, nice and bubbly.
That's always good. How have you been?
Pretty good. Just reading manga and, shooting the shit and some other stuff.
Whose shit are you shooting? Is it like
I
anybody
guess I
in
guess just
particular?
I guess just shooting the shit with your wife playing Fortnite.
Oh, okay. So what have you been doing in your spare time since the week that we've talked last, or since we
Playing
potted? Since we potted, I guess you could say.
yeah. So playing Fortnite and figuring stuff out about the podcast, you know, it's hard kind of being on the business end of it and trying to figure out other things and all that.
Yeah, most definitely. I find it hard to find a quiet area to podcast and actually find time to podcast sometimes.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
hardest part.
Yeah. I mean, the hardest part for me, I would say the actual recording and everything is probably fairly easy. But then all the outside stuff, like right now trying to find somewhere that can actually print like a decent tee or shirt or whatever for you and I with our little ad icon kind of character faces on it.
Somebody suggested to me that we should get our faces tattooed on us, like our logo.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Our faces or the entire logo?
I guess the entire logo. I don't know.
I don't know if I do the entire logo, but probably the little face
So
thingies.
would you tattoo my face onto you?
I guess I'd probably put it on one of my ass cheeks.
Hey, you stole my line. I was going to say that.
I mean, well, I got to keep it fresh, just like most of the rest of our other career in manga and everything. Because then I could really say that you were the butt of all my jokes.
I take that that's supposed to be funny.
It is funny.
I guess. Except
Cause
probably
you
only you.
cause you'd be tattooed on my butt.
So what have you been reading lately, or watching,
So,
or doing in your spare time, other than the outside podcast stuff?
Instagramming a lot, reading manga, watching some TV and stuff,
Uh-huh.
trying to get through some of that. I've been watching The Awesomes, which is about kind of like a Justice League screw up kind of like team work kind of situation.
Uh-huh.
And then I've been reading Descending Stories that's basically about Rakugo artists and stuff.
Oh, is that the there was an anime for that. Was it the Rakugo Shinju? I don't know what the fuck the name is.
Yeah.
That one was a real big hit with the ladies, surprisingly, I think. But it's like kind of like a cult hit almost. Like I don't know if it like made any money or anything like that, but I know it's kind of has like a cult following to it.
Right? I don't know. I mean, I find it more of a historical piece, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and most historical things more so fit into like a seinen or shonen kind of type of background.
I
So,
bet you there's some pretty crazy fan fiction for that series. Like,
oh yeah, I bet.
yeah.
Although, so I really honestly wouldn't know that though, because there are some people that are crazy about like age gap, and the
Uh huh.
closest person that would be in it for any kind of BL situation is like 30 years older than the guy.
Well, I only say that because I was watching Supernatural the other day,
Yeah.
and it was the episode where they find out that they have fans, and they have the brother romance. Was it morethanbrothers.com? And people write fan fiction about them.
Oh man, based off of the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah,
And
that's
I
crazy.
actually typed in the website morethanbrothers.com
Yeah.
to see if anything would pop up, and it's a site. It's an actual site. You know what it read? You know what it directs you to? More Warner Brothers properties.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah.
I was sitting there thinking like, is it even going to be supernatural related?
Oh, I thought it was gonna be some like hardcore like porno shit.
Yeah, right,
I was like, what am I gonna click on right now? Put my safe search on.
right.
But no, it's like an actual.
Virus.
It's a website, and you click it, and like Warner Brothers, like WB stuff, like pops up on it. I'm guessing it was like a supernatural site for a while, but then I guess it changed or whatever. I don't know.
Probably so. I had so many of my friends like growing up that watched it, and it was Dean and Castiel all the time, and I was like, why?
Oh yeah, it was like Dean Steele, or I don't remember. They had like some weird fucking shipping name.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called. Um, but yeah, are you gonna ask me what I did?
No, it's not important. I don't care.
I feel so defeated. I feel like this is a one sided conversation.
So, what are you wearing?
Right now, I made sure to take off my pants before we started recording,
Oh my god.
so I am not wearing any pants at this moment.
I regret asking this question now.
Well, you asked me what I was wearing.
That's true. That is true. Uh, so, what have you been doing with your week?
So right now, I'm wearing boxers and a red polo shirt. What I've been doing, so
So,
eh,
so you're, so you're kind of like Jake from State Farm without the khakis.
yeah, but I'm wearing like gray boxers, not like khaki boxers. I wonder if they make khaki boxers.
Oh
I'm gonna have to
no,
look into that for later.
I feel like you get some pretty bad chafing with that.
I mean, probably. But I got some that are on right now that are like have like some cooling technology. So we'll see if I get chafing. I don't know. Um, but what I've been doing, so I had the bright idea to start a TikTok for the podcast to try
Yeah.
to drum up some, I don't know, like clickbait stuff. I don't know, like just to try.
Some let's be relevant with our shows now. You were trying to drum up some fan service.
Yeah, I was trying to drum up some fan service and get people to click on our links to our podcast and actually listen, because it's really fucking hard to get people to listen to a fucking podcast.
That's true.
uh you know, I've watched plenty of videos, but I mean, I feel like if it's kind of like the Field of Dreams. If we make it, they will listen, type of thing.
Right. I mean, I don't even feel like it's a field of dreams for that. I feel like if I make it, I'll keep overrunning it until you do listen to it.
But yeah, so I started the TikTok yesterday. I put like 2 videos up. We'll see how that goes. A lot of people like the videos,
I
like
really want to see. I really
watch the
want to see.
videos.
I really want to see you do some of the dances.
Oh, I've been thinking about it, but I got to figure out how to fucking work TikTok. I feel like an old man on TikTok. You know how like Papa Weeb
You got,
feels on
you
Instagram?
got, you got
That's
two
a
kids.
Yeah, but I can't use them for social media gain.
No,
Uh,
but they can be your camera holders and directors.
But like you know how like Papa Weeb said he feels old on Instagram.
Yeah.
I feel that way on TikTok.
That's okay. I had somebody tell me the other day when I was at work. They said, "Oh, well, you can't be that much older than my cousin or whatever." And
Yeah.
when we were talking about it, they were like, "My cousin graduated." They well, they told me when they graduated, they were like, "I graduated in '93,"
Uh huh.
and then they're like, "So I'm expecting, okay, well, they must be like 10 years older than their nephew or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
their cousin." And they said, "No, it was a couple of years, like '95," and I just looked at him and I went, well, I graduated in 2011, and I was born in 1991. And he just looked at me and goes, oh, wow. He goes, you're really young. I guess I just carry myself at work a lot differently than anywhere else, and everybody thinks I'm like 40 or something.
I guess so. Yeah. But so I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I watched the first two episodes. It's fucking amazing.
I haven't seen any of that.
My nerd boner was so fucking hard, like the whole time.
Oh my god.
But I had to like tell Kathleen like everything
Yeah.
because she forgot what happened in like Infinity War and like Captain America. So I had to
Really?
so I had to explain all of Captain America's history, well, somewhat, and then like explain like the U.S. agent and like stuff like that, and why the fat Captain America wasn't around and why he was old. Because she forgot. She forgot. You know.
Stay tuned, guys. Well, later on, we may have a show about Captain America.
But I watched the new Mighty Ducks TV show.
Nope, not a fan.
You don't like the Mighty Ducks?
No, not the hockey one.
Like the movie?
I like the cartoon.
Like the movie?
Yeah, I like the cartoon.
So the TV show is a continuation from the movies. Yeah,
I like the animated movie
there's not.
where
It's a TV
where
show.
where the Mighty Ducks were actually
No,
ducks.
we're talking about the fucking hockey movie.
Hey, it was a hockey movie. They were a hockey team.
I have to say, yeah, but they fought like space dragons.
So,
I have to say, it was a really good fucking first episode. As a fan of the Mighty Ducks series of movies, not the TV show that only lasted one season, the movies, it's a really good continuation of the series. I really enjoyed it, and it's fucking hilarious.
well, that's good.
It's weird seeing a Disney property meant for kids where they say shit and like crap.
Right?
But I mean, I think they did that in like the first movie as well. So
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the first time I watched Disney's Doug, which is like after middle school and into high school,
yeah,
and whenever they start talking about sex and everything, and I was like the first time I heard that on there, I was like, I thought this was a children's show.
I
When
don't
did we
remember.
start talking about sex?
I don't remember much about Doug
I
or
don't
the.
remember. I don't remember much about Doug after Disney got it. I remember almost all of it when
Yeah,
Nickelodeon had it.
I don't remember that much when Disney had it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I only read one. No, I read two manga so far. I read No Gun's Life, and then I read Otaku Elf. I haven't really
Yeah.
read anything or watched anything. I was super hyped for Mighty Ducks, but then you poo pooed on my parade, and because you said you fucking hate the Mighty Ducks, I don't know if we can podcast anymore together because you hate the Mighty Ducks.
Sure we can. You just got to give me your
Well,
Disney Plus account.
you know what? You're supposed to get Disney Plus. This doesn't cost that much, and we can watch the movies and relive my childhood of watching hockey movies and then trying to attempt to play hockey.
We're going to attempt to play hockey.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Isn't hockey what that thing is called in One Piece that the people had?
Yeah, but I think it's spelled differently.
Haki. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
my hockey. That's my hockey movie right there, sir.
But yeah, without further ado, what are we talking about this episode besides how awesome the Mighty Ducks are?
Boats and hose.
I wish. We, you know what? We should have named our podcast Prestige Worldwide.
A manga prestige worldwide.
Worldwide, wide, wide.
Oh my gosh.
Boats and
Right?
hose.
That would have been our catchphrase.
Boats and hose.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about buying addiction. Um, in general, but we're kind of talking about manga buying addictions. But I mean, it's kind of all the same thing. But let's hear from our sponsors, aka Anchor, and then we will come back after that. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership required. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
What's up, guys? Jen Graves here with Otakuology back, and we do a lot of different shit. So anyway,
This is Otakuology After Dark. Take your pants off.
oh, nope. So Jesus Christ. So anyway, we are here talking about buying addictions, manga in particular, and we're making fun of the Mighty Ducks so that we can make Otaku might cry.
Please don't make me cry. I cry at the beginning of the first movie every time. Okay, but I feel like this is something everybody can relate to. I don't even remember how exactly we came across this topic or thought about the topic exactly.
I
Um,
I think it was a anonymous submission.
Anonymous submission. And, you know, nobody has submitted a topic yet for the
Right,
podcast.
right.
Even though we do have listeners out there. I know you're listening out there, people.
That sounded creepy.
I can see the numbers.
I can see you every time you click the button. I can see you click it.
All 10 of you.
Click it again.
But yeah, why don't you get us started with this topic at hand, Mr. Jen Graves?
So, buying addiction. Do we have it? Do we not? I don't know.
Um,
I don't think. I would have to say I don't believe that I have a buying addiction.
well, first, what exactly is a buying addiction?
Oh man, it's pushing the limits of buying it. I really feel like it takes the word otaku and the Japanese sense of it and really extends that because you know the Japanese sense basically means like to over enjoy something too much.
Yeah.
So I really feel like a manga otaku in Japan is that over you know you buy it too much. You buy a lot all the time. Um, so I feel like with that, we would probably have to call it like an otaku here in America,
Yeah.
which is just, you know, you kind of put yourself in dire straits, I would say. If you feel like you're not living comfortably, um, and having a manga addiction, or having a manga hobby, I feel like that's probably where we have to draw the line for it, honestly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things people can say about addiction or disorder. I mean, coming from the world of addiction, it's pretty hard to break. Um, uh, I mean, it's all a mental game.
Most
Uh,
deaf.
to an extent, you know, and it's just something that you have to work at, and if you don't work at it, it's just going to get worse and worse as you go down this weird downward spiral of buying or using stuff, but I mean, we're talking more
Right.
about buying, you know,
And right. And I feel like it does go hand in hand with like the hoarding aspect.
yeah, you could have like an impulse control type of situation going up on you in your brain, or like a behavioral addiction type of thing, or
Yeah.
like a obsessive compulsive disorder when it comes to buying addictions. You know,
Yeah. No, fully agree with that. I feel like there are actually a good handful of people out there that have this problem, though. Because I feel like most of us could get away with it by how much we've read of our collections, how much we've um, done some other stuff with our collections, how often that we actually buy, and if you have something that arises where you're not able to buy it, then not doing it. But I mean, I know there's other people out there that instead of doing that, they'll go ahead and buy it too. And
go.
yeah, so I mean, there's just a lot of stuff with the addiction and whatnot.
Yeah. Do you feel at all that you've personally had a buying addiction?
I would say in the past, but it was never to the extent like I went without something, like I never missed a meal.
Yeah.
Obviously, I never missed a meal.
Because you're a thick boy.
I am.
Or as they
I'm,
like to say, that I dove down into the TikTok, this weird TikTok subculture of women wanting chunky boys, and apparently they can't find the chunky boys. And I'm like, all the chunky boys are everywhere.
that's true. We're almost like the Hardy Boys.
Yeah. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I like I said, I feel like it does go with hoarding and stuff as well, and that you do have that, and when it's enough that it interferes with your life in some way or whatever, then I think that's where the addiction part comes into it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like it has to interfere with your life. So funny story. I have a somewhat life story to go along with this.
Yeah.
I had a buying addiction. Well,
Say it ain't so.
I had, I guess you could say, when I was in college, and or when I first got on my own, I had my own job, I had my own apartment, um, I would have a little bit extra money, and it was my food and gas money, and I would like uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Ration my money out for food and gas, and I would go, and every Monday, because I would be off on Mondays,
Yeah.
and every Monday I would go off and go to Hastings. I think I've told the story before. I would go to Hastings and I would buy like anime DVD sets or
Oh my
Blu-ray sets,
goodness.
because where the Hastings was that I was located, I would find like a bunch of like out of print sets at the time from like Bandai or ADV, stuff like that,
Right.
and they would be like super cheap, like $20, $30 type of thing,
Right.
and there were ones that I wouldn't be able to find elsewhere. So I would go and buy anime every week. I would buy like an anime or two, and I would like be like, okay, I what am I going to eat this time? Oh, I would just buy a bunch of ramen, or I'll buy a bunch of like Tostino's pizza rolls or something like that. Like I lived like a fucking college kid. Well, I was a college kid, but You know,
So,
I
so you were like a hikikomori.
no, I wouldn't say hikikomori because actually I did go out and stuff like that, and you know, I had friends who I would hang out with and stuff. But like, I was living alone, so it was like it was kind of like I was let off the leash
Yeah,
to an extent, and I was like, oh well, I have adult money, as they say now. I can buy adult things, and you know, I kind of my anime collection kind of overtook itself,
right.
and I mean, I've shown off my anime collection now. Back like 10 years ago, back in like 2007, yeah, 2007, 2008. You know, I had a really fucking big anime collection, and I remember somebody telling me it was my coworker who I would get together and watch anime with. You know, uh, he would be like, I'd be like, yeah, I got what was it like Martian Daybreakers or something. It was some weird. It was like they were on Mars, like a mecha series where they were on Mars, and it was all underwater. It was weird. I think it was like called like Mars Daybreak. I don't remember exactly what it was called,
Yeah,
and I just picked it up. It was like a Bandai release, and I was like, "Yeah, I got this anime and whatnot." Because I used to get anime for like anime nights that we used to have,
right.
and because I used to host it a bunch because I had a really big collection. And he used to be like, dude, like every time like you come in or like next week you have like some other anime, like he's like, you need to like calm the fuck down basically. And like you're getting stuff and you're like, you don't even know if you're gonna like it or not. And I was like, yeah, you know, I may or may not like it. I bought plenty of stuff that I did not need whatsoever.
Right.
Like it was crazy. Um so I had to drink some water. Um, I remember like when I first got my apartment, I had like $80 in cash at one point, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Best Buy," and I went to Best Buy, and I was like, "Oh my god, they have the complete collection of Speed Grapher. I need this." I mean, mind you, I really like Speed Grapher as an anime. I think it's really fucking like interesting.
Yeah.
If nobody knows what speedgraph is, it's about this guy who uses his camera, and when he takes pictures of them, people explode. It's cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's a really adult manga. I mean, a manga anime, and well, there is a manga, but it's only like 2 volumes. But
It's
the
three.
is it three? Okay,
Yeah, I'm
um,
pretty sure.
it's like an adult manga, an adult anime, and no, it's like it was a more mature, but it pushed limits because there was like a sex club in it and stuff like that.
A suggestive sex club.
Sorry, suggestive sex club. But I went there and I was like, "Oh, I need this. It's $50." Uh, I bought it and I took it home, and I was like, "Well, now I got to buy gas and food." Like I would buy things and then like be like, "Oh, I gotta do this, and I only have this much till payday." And like so, like I would make those impulsive purchases and be like, "What am I gonna do now?" Type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like I remember whenever I wanted to buy more anime, I'd be like, okay, let's go to Half Price Books or Hastings, get rid of some anime to get more anime.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like an endless cycle, and I was like, I didn't know how to like get out of it. I mean, eventually I got out of it.
Right? Because it sounds like a vicious cycle too.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty bad. Like eventually I got out of it because I ended up in like a really bad like financial situation,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't like afford anything. So me being in that bad financial situation kind of broke me of my anime buying addiction. And um I don't buy as much anime as I used to, but I feel like my addiction has kind of shifted to like manga and Gunpla and like, you know, comic books again. Like it just kind of shifted and it's more manageable.
Yeah.
Like, because I obviously have other priorities and stuff like that, and I lost my train of thought. And like, I mean, honestly, I feel like my addiction kind of started back up when I fucking started MangaTube. You know what?
Good,
I take back what I said.
good you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
I took back what I said. Like, I mean, like, there are times where I buy manga and I second guess myself. I'm like, do I really need this? Do I really want to read this? Do I need to continue this series that I don't like?
Well, so on that aspect, I really feel like uh, MangaTube and just stuff in general is actually a bad thing because when you look at it, I feel like it's almost like the fucking shopping network. Okay,
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because you're like, oh, I
and you
got
see
this.
it, and you see all these people get this stuff,
Yeah,
and obviously they're just getting volume one or something like that, and you're getting it, and because you see 5, 10 people get the series, you
you
automatically
you
go,
automatically feel you need to get it.
you're that old lady on the shopping network, and you go, oh my god, it's going like hotcakes. I gotta buy one.
Oh my god, it's only 5 easy payments of $69.99.
Well, see, that's what it is. Is so the 65.95 or whatever is actually how many volumes it is that come out, which we don't know,
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, it's kind of hard, especially when it's ones that you like, especially if it's like ongoing.
right? Well, I mean, most of the time it's just volume one, and
Yeah,
you'll buy that, and then those people might already have gotten out of that, and they go, okay, well, I read this, it sucked, and they sell it, and you
yeah,
could be one of those people with this buying addiction and be like, okay, I bought this, I need to get volume two to make sure I like it or not, and
yeah. I
then
mean,
you're
I
like,
mean,
I'm still.
usually,
Then you're like, oh, I'm still kind of iffy about it. Let me try volume three, and then you might end up getting up to like volume five and be like, all right, I'm done with the series.
oh, I mean, I feel that way. I was reading Opossums, and I was super hot on Opossums. I was like, yeah, this series is fucking good. I got to volume 4, and I was like, I fucking hate this series. I was like, I hate it. Why did I buy up to volume 4?
I remember us talking about it.
I was just like, oh my god, like, I mean, I feel like you can fall into that trap like really easily, and especially with like the compulsive nature of manga tube and feeling like, excuse me, I don't want to say like, it's like almost like competitive like an unspoken like competitive nature in a way, but
No,
it's almost
I
like
would I wouldn't necessarily say a competitive nature. I feel like it more so falls into the section of um being with the cool kids kind of
yeah,
because
you kind of got
if
to
you
one
don't
up yourself every fucking month.
yeah, because if you don't buy it that time when everybody else has it, then it's
Yeah,
like you're screwed because now it's not cool anymore. It's almost like when you see in a TV show or whatever where you have the kids and everybody's got uh like space helmets.
yeah,
And so everybody buys a space helmet. And then the characters that you're watching are the main characters walk in and they're like, "Oh my gosh." Well, then they buy space helmets. Then they walk back in and everybody's got like freaking stilts.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
they're like, "Oh, we got to do this too." Well, then they come back with stilts and the kids are on something else, like everybody's wearing a chef hat or something and it's like, "Oh my god, we're never going to catch up with the trend."
Yeah, I mean, in that way, like I try my hardest to not follow what everybody else is getting. Um, I guess why people say my manga hauls are somewhat unique, or people are like, "Oh, I never heard of that title," But there are times where I do fall into the fucking hype. I got fucking hyped for Soul Eater,
Yeah.
and I never did a video on that, but I bought Volume One, and I read it, and I was like, well, I kind of already know what's happening because I've watched the fucking anime. I don't need to
Right.
read the manga. I know the manga's a little bit different than the anime, but I was like, I already know what's going to happen. You know, I wasn't like that entertained by it. Like it wasn't bad. It's just I fell into the hype. You know, I almost fell into the Shaman King hype, and I almost bought that 3-in-1 the other day, and you know, and it just it's really hard because people fucking hype things up so much, and then
Right.
and especially when you're on YouTube or social media, you know, it's. I mean, I do it. You know, I hype things up whenever I do like a first impressions or something like that. You know,
Right.
and I try to not to steer people the wrong way when I do my stuff. When people ask me for my suggestions, you know, I don't. You know, I don't feel bad if they read something and put their hard earned money towards it, and like they didn't like it. You know, because I
Right.
mean everybody's
Right.
so different.
Right. Yeah. And I mean that's kind of my thing too, like, because I really don't get rid of anything.
Yeah,
So like I have to be that kind of picky person when it comes down to it, or then I'd be sitting there buying freaking everything.
yeah.
And like some people can kind of save themselves on like the resell and stuff like that. Well, I would never be able to do that.
No, I mean,
But
I don't think it's bad to.
I find it, that's the other thing, is when you resell so much that you're doing it on a regular basis. I find that stupid because you're automatically going to have to resell it
Or rebuy
for,
it.
no, just resell it. You're going to have to resell it for a cheaper thing than when you bought it.
I mean, it depends. It really depends on what it is and if it's out of print or not. You know.
Well, we're talking about right when you get the series,
Okay.
so it'd still be ongoing and everything else, and you're going to turn around and sell it right then and buy a series that you might be more interested in.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, that extra money is going to add up. So that's why I'm kind of like, well, why would I buy like a $10 series and then resell it to somebody for 7 and then throw another $3 at another series to get, to get this other book for another $10,
well,
and then do it again, cuz then at the end of it I'm out like $30
I mean,
after going through 10
I'm
volumes.
partially under the mindset. I feel like it's okay to get rid of stuff if you're just not into it. You know,
Yeah,
if you're not into it, there's no reason to really fucking keep a manga or something like that. You know.
right. I'm just of that mindset that it might not be for you at that time.
I mean, I have plenty of anime that I bought on like a Right Stuff holiday sale or Sentai Filmwork sale
Yeah.
that I haven't even watched. I haven't even taken some of them out of the
Yeah.
shrink wrap.
Well, I've done that with anime, but almost all of my manga, I just kind of sit there. I'm like, well, I haven't picked you up yet, but one day I'll
I
pick
mean,
you up.
one day you might not. You know, what if you die before you get to pick it up and read it? You
We won't talk about that.
know. But
We're
yeah,
we're we're shooting for I'll be immortal and be able to read everything
but buying
until the
addiction can
last one until the last mangaka dies.
buying addiction can affect people in so many different ways. It affect them in like financial situations. You know, a need to constantly buy something that they don't need. You know, and
Right.
spending great deals of time researching um, that coveted item that you might need. You know, but how would you? I mean, we kind of did some life experiences. I've known people who have also been or had buying addictions. Some of them, I don't feel like they know that they have a buying addiction.
That's true.
You know, but I mean, it's always the first step is admitting you have a problem. I hate to sound cheesy, but you have to admit it that you have a problem. When it starts affecting your everyday life and you start complaining that, oh man, I can't pay my fucking bills. I
Yeah.
can't afford to, feed my kids or, feed myself or feed an animal that I have, and you're more worried about this object that you covet so much. You might want to take a step back and like actually
Look at it.
think and look at it, and you'd be like, do I really need this? And
Right.
then that's what I do. I think, and I mean, do I really need this? And sometimes I'll put it back on the shelf. And if I come in a week or two and it's still there, maybe might buy it. Maybe I won't buy it.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think everybody needs to develop their rule of thumb. Like, I won't if it's not a one shot or like a series that I could buy all in one go at the store. I won't buy it. I will wait until I can get it somewhere cheaper. Most of the time, it's going to be Right Stuff, or if I can buy
Yeah,
the entire thing off of eBay for a decent price. Um, that's just kind of my observation. Not only because it saves me money, but at the same time, most of the time, I can't remember everything that's on my shelves.
yeah. I mean, I can, but you can't.
Right. So I mean, and that's when I have to be at home and I'm like, all right, let me go in here and look real quick. Do I have this? Yeah, I do. No, I don't.
Yeah, and it's.
Which I think it's funny when people go, "Holy shit, I bought the same volume twice
I've
or
done that.
or or three times." I've never done that. Most of the time what I've ended up doing is I will have like I've gotten volume 1 and accidentally skipped volume 2 and got volume 3.
Well, I mean, I've done that where I accidentally bought it online, and
Yeah.
then I accidentally hit it like twice in like an order, and I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
know I bought it two copies instead of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done
So,
that. I've
but
done that twice. I did
I
that
mean,
was
I've done that too. I I would support you buying. I would say a lot or something, a big chunk of something, so that you always have something to read. But I wouldn't say that you needed to do that constantly.
or you could just get like the Shonen Jump app or Comixology Unlimited and read it digitally.
That's true.
You can pay
That's an option.
you can pay that monthly fee and just read it digitally, and it doesn't take up your time to go looking for it and obsess about getting it. When you can just read it for like $2 or like $9 or whatever how much Comixology costs, and just read it and enjoy it. And I get there's
Right.
like that gratification when it comes to like buying something, but I mean that gratification is only short lived. Honestly,
That's true.
you'll go back to like depression or whatever eventually when that adrenaline rush wears off. For buying a manga or whatever.
That's true. And especially if you're just going to get to the point where all it's become into is that you're just buying. Like if you're
Yeah,
not even reading a series or anything, then that's a problem there too because you're not using that medium that it's intended for.
yeah, that's definitely true. I but you want to go ahead and start wrapping this up. How would you go about helping somebody or helping if somebody asks for help?
Um, well, if somebody asked for help, I would ask if it was genuine
Yeah,
because I have one of my friends that tells me all the time that they're not going to buy anything and then the next day or they tell me to tell them not to do it or whatever
and they
and
do
then
it anyways.
I find out like at the end of the conversation they already did it and I'm like, "Oh, you asshole."
Yeah,
So, I mean honestly, like the first thing is you have to know that that's already a problem or
yeah,
whatever to begin with. And then just kind of put yourself on a schedule, you might have to cut back on some series that you're reading.
yeah,
You might have to wait off and say I'm going to buy this whole series in bulk, um, or the rest of it in bulk whenever it does come out. I mean, you just have to find different stuff. I mean, I've went without. twice, in the past 2 years or whatever, I've went 4 months out of the year without
Yeah,
buying stuff.
that's a lot of titles you can miss. You know.
Right. So, and you could also do what I do. I have a book that I keep with me, and I write down all the new stuff that comes out, and I just go back to the older entries and I mark it off, and okay, I got these. Let's move on to the next page, after I get my next paycheck, and move on from there, because then you know what you need, basically.
Yeah, I would honestly, I would try to reach out to somebody that you respect or look up to, their opinion.
Yeah.
Talk to them about it, and admit, like you said, admit that you have a problem. And I would be like, hey, can you help me research and possibly get some counseling or therapy? Because obviously there's a underlining problem there,
Right.
and it's all in your head usually. All the time, it's always in your head, and
Right.
actually get proper help to with your addiction when it comes to like your buying addiction.
Right. And if
Because
you're actually enjoying like what you're reading or
yeah,
stuff, then at some point you're not gonna care if you have this other series, if you have the
yeah,
newest book for it.
yeah. When it starts affecting you and you don't have a place to live, and stuff like that in your everyday life, you really need to seek help and actually get proper help. Because I mean, there are people out there that could help you for an addiction.
Right.
But yeah, I don't got nothing else to say on this one. I feel like we had a good conversation
Right.
when it comes to talking about this. I feel like this is something that not a lot of people talk about.
Right. I feel
With
like this is something that probably a lot more people should probably talk
Yeah,
about.
I do, because I feel like we all have it in some way, shape, or form, and we all feed off each other and stuff like that. When it comes to social media and how much things you should get each week or each month or whatever you want to call it.
Right. And I mean, just like we were talking about that gratification of, buying it and receiving it and stuff, opening it out of the box. I mean, the other thing is you have to realize that there are more ways than that. Like you actually reading a book, that's a small victory when you finish the book itself.
It's
It's an
true.
even bigger victory when you finish the entire series. It's, you know, more of a victory as you go. There's more and more things that you can do. Like starting out with a collection, reading every volume in the collection, finishing the entire series, hitting a goal of getting like your first 150 manga, 100 manga, whatever it is,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
going from there. There's so much that I find a lot of people don't celebrate with manga like that.
uh
That
huh,
it, I find it kind of irritating.
yeah.
Because
No, I get what you're saying.
whenever I see somebody go, "Oh man, I got my first 150," that makes me think about like Gen 1 of Pokemon, where it's like, "Oh my god, you got them all."
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Let's start closing this up.
yeah.
You can email us if you have any questions or concerns or potential future topics. You can email us at otakuologypodcast at gmail.com. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram at Otakuology Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, or Anchor. Make sure to go to Apple Podcast, leave us a 5-star review, and write us a review, and we will read it live on the air. Um, I'm Otaku Mike. With me is Jen Graves, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Right. See you next Tuesday.
Peace out and stay safe.